everybody. BobbyG here along with the lovely Mrs. G.
Hi.
And today we got something different and special that we're sort of doing. I'm pretty darn excited about it, actually. We're getting ready to head over to Wells, Nevada, about 50 miles out of Elko to the east. And we are heading to see Bella Cummings. Bella, America's Madam, is I believe what she is referred to.
Yes.
Published author, been in all kinds of news articles, media everywhere. But anyway, she's a leading advocate for legalization and regulation of legalized brothels for sex workers and such in the United States. And she has asked us to come visit with her. We're going to hear what she has to say. Hopefully get a tour of the ranch. And we'll see what happens.
I'm excited.
Yeah, this should be really cool. She's super nice lady.
Yes.
Really nice lady. Man, she's a firecracker, full of energy.
Yep.
So, all right, guys, we'll see you there.
Bye.
We are traveling east on I-80 to the little town of Wells, Nevada. Wells sits about halfway between Elko and Wendover. Wells is located at what is known as the Crossroads of America, right where I-80 and the Great Basin Highway intersect. Wells has a population of about 1,200 people and is usually a quiet little town. That is, until recently. Somebody in Wells has been receiving a lot of attention from the media.
Bella Cummins runs Bella's Hacienda Ranch.
And a welcome to Madame Bella Cummings.
Welcome, Madame Bella.
Bella Cummins has been the owner and madam of Bella's Hacienda Ranch for nearly 4 decades. These days, Bella is commonly referred to as America's Madam. Bella is a leading advocate for legalization and regulation of brothels, not only in Nevada, but the entire U.S. We have been lucky enough to be invited by Bella to stop by and chat about what it's like to be America's Madam.
All right, Mrs. G, are we ringing the bell for Bella's?
Yeah.
All right. So we are waiting. Oh, that was fast.
Hi. Hello. Welcome. Thank you.
Hello.
Love that picture.
Look at that. That is Bella.
That's
Miss
stunning.
Bella.
Yeah,
And-
stunning. And then the wall of courtesans are right.
The wall of courtesans.
Before we tour the house, we sit down with Bella to chat about what it's like to be America's Madam.
Hey, everybody. Bobby G here, along with the lovely Mrs. G.
Hello.
And the extremely lovely, and we are so excited to be talking to America's Madam, Bella Cummings of Bella's Hacienda Ranch here in Wells, Nevada.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for having us. We
Yes.
are so excited to be here and see you. You've been all over the place lately. We're seeing you on podcasts and newscasts and YouTube, everywhere.
I have been. I have some traction, some momentum.
Yeah. So Bella, you are like the leading advocate or the advocate for like legalization and regulation, legalized brothels in the U.S., I guess I'd like to say.
Yes, I believe that's the place I get to start.
Yeah.
Since that's really all Nevada has left to share with this country. And then I'd love to see the blueprint go across the world. But you know, it's a little tiny little speck of a worldwide industry, the hugest industry on this globe. And of course, since 1970, over 50 years, it's been tested and proven to work in these rural communities where, you know, taxation happens and public safety, and it gives clients, guests, and working ladies a place to meet each other. A place, it's like a location, or you know, a place that has all the safety for everyone that would like to be involved in what I call sensual sexual services.
Central Sexual Services. Yeah. I'd have to edit things here and there. So, in case people aren't familiar with you, you are, from what I've read and heard, the longest running, what is it? Longest serving living madam.
Living sounds good.
That's what I read. It actually said the longest
Yeah.
longest serving living madam in currently or in history. I'm not
Well, I'm
sure.
going to say in this country, and I don't know about the world, but definitely the longest serving madam in this United States.
In the United States. And you have been not only madam but owner of Bella's Hacienda for how long?
37 years.
37 years, so almost 4 decades.
Yes, and
Uh-huh.
I believe in order to be a madam, you get to be an owner. And if someone is being called a madam in some of the other locations of rural brothels, they are, and they have no ownership, then they're really a manager and an employee.
Now, are there any other female owners of brothels in Nevada?
I think there are some that are involved, with other people. Okay, but they aren't like sole owners, and there's, and some of them are brand new, as far as stepping in. And I just over the Thanksgiving holiday, one reached out to me that said she was newly part of, a rural brothel, and she wanted to stop by and she wanted to meet me, and of course I said, of course,
Yeah.
happy to.
Well, you've been very accommodating in meeting people, it seems like, and especially with us, always greeting with a hug.
Yes.
Very, very nice. And now also you started, I think it was in 2019, was it the Winesta
Yes.
Foundation?
Yes, and the Onesta Foundation.
Onesta.
Oh, that's okay. The Onesta Foundation was basically created to give courtesans a voice with, I'm going to say, a madam that could have. It's like having their back or giving them giving them the ability to speak up and be heard. All right, that there are real credentials that go along with being a legal courtesan. And it wasn't exactly received as well as I thought it would be, but it was also instrumental. The Onesta Foundation was instrumental when Nye County and Lyon County were under attack by religious organizations, and the religious organizations just they lost their bid to close down those houses because the people wanted them there. The citizens wanted them there. And as I said, when things get put to a vote, and it's what we call secret ballot, the rural areas want brothels. It's an asset to the community. You look at Wells, I would never ask them if they're pro house of, or legal house of the brothel, but they know I'm a destination, and they also know that the people that are coming here as a client or a guest, they're gonna buy fuel, they're gonna buy groceries, they're gonna stop at restaurants, there may be hotels, and so it is a stimulus to the community.
Yeah. And courtesan is another word for prostitute,
Yes.
but it's more of a classier word. What would you describe the difference between prostitute and courtesan?
Courtesan comes really from the 1500s, and in Venice, courtesans, there was still a many levels of what we call the courtesan, from those that might be on the canal all the way up to the Cortegiana Onesta, that would be, in the castles, the nobility, the clergy. But here was the real success of what we'll call the ruling class at that time. Courtesans could be educated. They were literate. They had access to libraries, where all of the other women of that era denied that, including the wives of the nobility, whatever their title might be. They couldn't read and they couldn't write, and they probably did a heck of a needlepoint. But that really changed from what I call, what it did was it identified the difference from legal, sexual service provider, and illegal. Because they can't have the same label. They aren't the same. These women go through a rigorous list of regulations that they adhere to in order to be licensed courtesans. On the other side, the illegal area has none of that. There's no hoops to jump through. So for both of them to have the same prostitute title is incorrect.
Demeaning too.
And it is. It's a demeaning term for ladies that are wanting to pay their taxes, be part of public safety, and be in service to others legally.
Sure. And you actually lobbied with the city council to get that changed on their cards. I guess they have to get like a sheriff's card or a worker's card of some sort with the government before they can work here.
With the city of Wells, okay, and it's a little bit different because Elko County had to be, let's say, vote in favor of having brothels.
Okay.
Right? But also in the NRS, it said within that county, an incorporated city can vote for brothels in their city. So that is why the houses, let's say in Elko, are county licensed.
Okay.
Okay, but the Wells brothel is city licensed.
City of Wells. So you had to go before city council.
Yes.
Is that correct? To get
And the
that
city
changed?
council, or the city, if you will, allows me to pay for my license every year.
And they, from some of the research I was doing, you guys pay some pretty decent fees for not only the house, but the girls or the ladies themselves to do this legally. I mean, it seems like the government takes a pretty good chunk of things too.
Well, it's a what they call a privileged license, and in order to own a brothel, you have to buy an existing license.
Okay.
So there would be no more.
So there is no more?
No, there's
Okay.
no more, unless, let's say, another rural county said, well, we're gonna vote in this many in our county. So, and it does make the license financially, valuable, right? Since there are, I'm gonna say, a restricted number, all right? But, the idea behind, I'm going to say, owning the brothel, yes, the ladies are here for the money. That's how they are making their money, and they're going to go out, and this is how they're going to live their lives outside of here. But they really do have to have a calling. They have to have some reason to be in service with all types of individuals. And, I've also been asked about the sex worker thing. And there's no guarantee that penetration happens.
Sure.
So to label it as sex work is never correct either. So,
Good point.
so the way I look at it, no one's behind the closed door except for them. What happens back there, sometimes I hear a lot of laughter and conversation, and I think in a way there's less sex now than before the pandemic. Because I think that desire for people to interact at a different level, and some of the therapy that happens between courtesan and client, and maybe just out and out fun, or maybe it is about the money for both of them. I want to spend this, I want you, and I want the, and
Sure.
so it's almost like there can be an art form to it as well. So it's a very misunderstood industry.
And there's two houses here in Wells.
Yes.
That have Bella's, and then next door is Donna's. And we come from Elko, where we have 4, I believe, live there now. So this this Bella's or this location was started in 1950. Is that correct?
It was, the original Hacienda was built in 1950.
In 1950.
But there was a fire and it was built anew in 70.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also in 1970 that the legislature wrote the codes for brothels to exist by the people's vote
Mm-hmm.
in rural counties.
Right. And then, so let's just change gears just a little bit. Like I mentioned earlier, Bella is a huge leading advocate for legalization and regulation of brothels and legal sex-related work, I guess you could say. And Nevada, from what I understand, is the only state where brothels are actually legal. Some states it's been decriminalized, but Nevada is really the only state right now where brothels are legal. Am I correct there?
Partially,
Partially.
okay? There is really no decriminalization.
Mm-hmm.
The last state that did anything was Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
And Vermont went with the Nordic law. All right, well, what the Nordic law is, for those that might not know, is this: we have the Nordic law right here in Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
All right, in the statutes. But the differentiation is, as long as you're in a house, golden.
Okay.
Whatever happens in the house stays in the house. We follow regulations. There is no criminalization
Okay.
associated. It also reads in those same statutes that if the activities happen outside of a brothel, you can be arrested. You can be a criminal for buying, for engaging in acts outside of the house.
Okay.
So that is totally the Nordic law.
Right.
All right, but, well, in essence, because the Nordic law really is a little different in that the seller won't be criminalized, but the buyer will.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so when you look at making a criminal out of individuals that are choosing to exchange something for something that's assumed to be sensual sexual services, and making people criminals for that, if they're consenting, I'm never in favor of that.
Sure.
I don't think it's a criminal activity. I think it is if it's really against someone's will, or it talks about trafficking or things like that, then you bet. Criminal activities, pin it all over it.
Sure.
But when I talk about decriminalization, I talk about decriminalization with regulation.
Mm-hmm.
I believe destinations and legalization gives people that place that they actually know, well, it's right here. It's kind of like you have a Disneyland, but you wouldn't have Disneyland if it didn't have a physical location. So that's what Nevada Brothels has created, was the location where people can meet and negotiate what they're after. And it could be a different nationality or anything that is something that they'd like to experience, that person would like to experience safely.
Mm-hmm. So, is that part of what you, I guess, what's your goal with everything that you've been working towards with the legalization and regulation? Is it just to increase it in Nevada, go to counties that have over 700? Because in Nevada, I believe counties that have over 700,000 people.
600.
600,000? Okay. I'm trying to do my homework. There's lots of numbers out there. But and that's sort of what makes like Clark County, where Las Vegas is, where it's illegal. But there's probably more prostitution going on in Clark County than anywhere else in the state. And trafficking.
They are number one.
Yeah, I would think
And so that, but we all know that's what's going on back of all of that.
You got the guys handing out the cards on the street corner and
the trucks with the gal on the side
driving
going
up and down Las Vegas Boulevard. So
but your question really was about what was I wanting
yes,
to help the country understand, all right? And speaking logically about it, the industry of, we'll call it sensual sexual services, is so multifaceted, it's impossible to just say, oh, we're just going to decriminalize, because that won't get you police protection, and it's just too big. You know, you can't handle what's happening in the back alleys. Whether it's escort or just illegal or trafficking, it's all this one big industry. But within that industry, there's one tested and proven model that deals with locations. That's what I'm wanting rural areas in other states to adopt, to consider for tax revenue,
Sure.
for public safety, for what I call putting a little piece of the industry in the correct light, which means that it's consensual, it's regulated, it's safe, it's going to happen anyway. Why wouldn't people do this?
Right. Well, it is the world's oldest profession. Whether they make it legal or illegal, it's going to still be happening. So you think that they would want to regulate it somewhat where they can get their hands in there and make some of the tax dollars from the government side. I'm sure there's people that have different moral issues, but I'm not really worried about that. And like to work in Nevada or here anywhere, all the ladies have to get tested on a regular basis, right?
Every week.
Every week.
Every week.
Every week. And so do they test here? Do they have to go to a medical
No,
facility?
they test here.
They test here. And then
And testing has come a long ways.
has it.
Yes.
And I'm sure it's not free.
No, they do. They pay
They
for
have
their
to pay
testing.
for it. Yeah.
Right. But what? That's part of the regulation. That's part of the public safety.
Yeah.
But I still believe in the economy of being what I call governed. The primary focus, including public safety, should be how does this benefit a community? You know, how does it help them financially? And that's really the right question.
Yeah.
All the medical is easy, and that is just how the public safety happens. And as people might not know, Wells is a very small town on the crossroads of the western United States, and we proudly have like 6 travel centers that some people might call truck stops. Well, in other states, areas that have these travel centers have all kinds of illegal activity. And it's an issue. It can be a nuisance. It can be the opposite of public safety, obviously.
Sure.
Well, we can have 5 truck stops and we have no illegal activity. That's because we're here.
Right.
And so that's another benefit to the community, that we can keep, there are no sex crimes here. And other places can't say that. You know, one thing I really haven't been asked was, why is it that big cities won't do it? Well, I think that big cities have other entities that control that particular industry. And it's I'm going to say it's pretty well guarded for the manipulation and the money and even the manipulation of never just women.
Sure.
I think it can be any young person. And I really would like to see them in cities in designated areas where people knew where to go. And we've got to evolve as a human race
Sure.
in order to deal with our sexuality correctly.
Yeah. Well, natural. Everybody likes a little bit of affection or attention or somebody to talk to, someone to cuddle with, someone to have sex with.
Right?
Human connection.
Yes.
Human nature.
And a lot of it is hormone driven.
Yeah.
So how do they express themselves if maybe they aren't, you know, a person that easily can attract someone in their life permanently, or even just to date casually?
Sure.
And and I believe, Tracy, you said it correctly when we had that brief interaction before we sat down to talk, and you were talking about, people using their bodies for the purpose of something. And it's like trading something.
Sure.
And it was really well said. It just happens. We used to call them one-night stands.
Mm-hmm.
And, sometimes we'd say, well, we're never going to see that person again.
Mm-hmm.
That just wasn't good.
Yep.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point with all the truck stops and things around here. I know before earlier when we talked, I mentioned that I might ask you a couple of things on people that I want to just stop real quick and say, I'm all about consenting adults do whatever the heck you want, as long as nobody's getting hurt. That's me. That's how I feel. So I'm not against anything that goes on here. I'm not opposed to it, anything like that. But I wanted to hear Bella's opinion a little bit on things that people that oppose brothels or legalization, regulation, what her thoughts were. And one of the questions I was going to ask towards the end, but you brought up the truck stops here, is one of the things that the opponent and some of the politicians have said, and I've read their quotes, was that when they open the door for legalized brothels, things like that, it increases sex trafficking in that area and illegal, and I have it written down, so I'm just sort of going off what I've read, but I have the actual quote written down. But it increases the illegal activity in the area because of the legalized stuff going on. And us coming from Elko, and you here in Wells, and you got these truck stops right here, and we live over in Elko, you don't see the stuff, going on in the streets and walking on the street corners or at the truck stops, to what you're saying. And when the politicians or the opponents to legalization, you'll bring something like this up. What's your thought on
Well, first of all, they have no facts.
that? Yeah.
And chances are they're judging something they know nothing about.
Mm-hmm.
And their job isn't to judge. Their job is to get the facts. When there are legal licensed houses, or brothels, as I like for them to be called, the criteria to be a courtesan, the criteria for what I call a card-carrying courtesan.
Mm-hmm.
It means that you are medically tested and you're fingerprinted. You have a Nevada State business license. You have to have a valid picture ID. You have to have a social security card. You have to have all of these documents before you even go purchase your card. And I believe that you won't get trafficking. It's almost impossible to have somebody trafficked, have all of those criteria or documents met if they're really a trafficked person.
Sure.
It's just going to be too difficult. It'd be virtually impossible to suddenly say, well, we have legal houses, so now we're going to have every corner filled with illegal workers.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see it in Elko, you don't see it in Wells. So what I am going to say is to those people, talk to me. It isn't true.
Yeah. And just so nobody says I'm just winging something out, I'm going to just read the quote real quick, just so I have it 100% correct and not paraphrasing. But it says, on average, jurisdictions with legal prostitution, there is statistically significant larger reported incidents of illegal sex trafficking. And I'm sorry, but I don't see it in Elko. I mean,
It won't be in Wells.
and I don't see it in Wells. And Wells is a sleepy little town of about 1,200 people.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of the stuff, it seems like the opponents to legalization say it doesn't seem to add up to me. It's they're penalizing you for what people are doing illegally elsewhere,
Yes, that's exactly true.
And like we had mentioned, there's probably more illegal sex stuff and prostitution or whatever the case may be going on in Clark County where there is no brothels whatsoever than probably the entire state of Nevada. I know we lived right outside of Vegas.
It could
for a
be
while.
10 times. It could be 100
Oh,
times.
probably. And, you know, like we said, with the trucks going up and down the roads with the billboards and the guys handing out the cards and all the different massage parlors, things like that. And I know you've beaten a lot of this to death recently because you're all over the place. Everybody's been hitting you up for news interviews and podcasts. So we sort of feel pretty honored to
I
be
just
here.
I want all of you to keep coming.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
it's going to take a bit of a typhoon
Yeah.
to get, I'm going to call the sludge out of some people's ears.
And one of the things, you know, it's sort of funny how this sort of happened for us, and we started meeting some different owners and people, ladies that, courtesans that work in some of these places in northern Nevada. It just sort of happened. But everybody we've met has been so nice and very
Honestly nice, not just,
upfront.
and
nice.
you can tell the difference. You're down to earth, you're real. The girls that I've met have all been,
Ladies.
I'm 55. Most of the girls I've met are girls to me because
Yeah.
they're my daughter's age. And if my daughters wanted to do this, that would be their choice. That wouldn't be something that I would, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, but what I was trying to make the point of is you know, for people who have not been to these places before, you know, they're not shady, they're not seedy, you know. So I think sometimes people with the unknown, they don't know. And when like if a lady is interested in working here new, okay, what is the procedure for somebody new?
Well, there's an employment tab on the homepage of
Okay.
bellas.us. And it's a very short application. You submit a couple pictures. Tell me, you know, what time zone you're in, and we'll set up a time when we can talk,
Okay.
you know?
And then from there, do they do like a background check and have to get the licensing, and does all that sort of go before or after they
It
talk?
comes along, you know, after they arrive. And then, you know, it's just a step-by-step, quick process.
Okay. And then, now some of the ladies live here, or they all live here when they're working.
Yes.
Some stay for a long time, and then some do short tours. How's that work?
Yes, they do all different lengths of time. It depends on their obligations in what I call their personal life. And so there are many courtesans that are 2 on, 2 off, or 3 on, 2 off. There's some that have big goals, and they might be here a month or 2, or 6 weeks, you know. And so what I work to do is be flexible, and as long as they don't get too tired, you know, because this is a career that has a persona to it, okay? Where usually the lady has another name. Like Sally might be Brooke, all right? And Brooke is in service. And Sally's job is to stay out of the way, no judgment, and do the right thing with the financial abundance, we'll call it, with the money.
And on any given day, what are the average amount of ladies that are currently working?
You know, there's in the early morning, there's just a couple, but as the day progresses, there could be 8 or 10, and then towards kind of that, you wrapping up the midnight thing, it might be down to those 2 or 3.
Okay.
Again, and I am a firm believer that we have day people and night people, and we have people that come from different time zones. And rather than upset their time zone, you work to have them work when they feel the best. So, you know, if you're from the East Coast, you might, what we call, get off the floor a little earlier, get on the floor earlier in the day.
Yeah, I was wondering. I guess sort of what I was asking was how many are here steady at any given time? What the numbers fluctuate from
It's about
5 to 10 or something like
It
that?
could be.
Yeah.
It could be, especially like, well, I think, did we have Thanksgiving? We had 7.
Oh, really?
And so, you know, it could be, because it's a 24-hour establishment, it really could be anywhere between 6 and 10.
Okay. So Bella's is 24 hours. I know some of the places have different hours or hours, set hours.
Yes.
Bella's is 24, so apparently at any time of night, somebody's gonna answer the door here.
Yes.
Now, if somebody had never been to a brothel in Nevada, was interested in coming here, how's it work for them? I mean, what do they do? What happens when they get here?
Well, when they show up, we have a front door and a doorbell, and we ring the doorbell. And, upon entering the building, there's someone that'll ask them, have you ever been here before? And, or maybe we do have a bar, but we're a brothel with the convenience of a bar. We are not a bar.
Okay.
So once the gentleman is seated, or couple, or woman, whatever it might be, if they've never been here before, whoever is on shift, the staff member, would explain how it works, explain methods of payment, explain they can talk to as many courtesans as they'd like to find that person they're really looking for. And, and just the general, how to help them be less nervous, i.e. more comfortable. And then from there, they can, there's a lineup, we are a lineup house, and they would choose a courtesan, and the courtesan would show them around and some of the different specialty rooms. And then from there, they would ask them, well, how did you plan on paying for your experience? We get to go talk about your experience. What are we going to do today? How about, and so those are the things that help the client understand that this is all very above board. It's okay to talk about money. It's okay to talk about what they're looking for. And and of course, the payment options, so that if they need to use a little cash and a credit card, or we have an ATM, and so that all of that can come together, so that without coming in totally prepared, that those options can help them customize that party with the lady that they really came to have.
So how many, I got some curiosity questions. How many guys come in here for their first time? Like first time with a lady? And I know you've mentioned something about the tech generation thing.
Right.
Some of the stuff I've read.
Right. But it's, there's quite a few.
Is there?
And there's more couples even that are wanting to have what I call the threesome experience safely. All right. And, and I won't say all the ladies, but typically the ladies are very flexible about what happens behind the closed door, whether it's kind of a bi thing or whether it's just a man and a woman. So this is where those things can organically happen in safety.
Sure. And I would imagine different ladies have different specialties or different boundaries. So you got to hook the right client up with the proper person.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And they're pretty good at doing that themselves, but we always, if there's any hesitation, it's like, really, when we said you can talk to every lady, we meant it. So let's, we'll bring in the second lady so she can, it's that there is a seduction involved. And as a human race, we want to be seduced. There's that hormone, I'm going to call it involvement, that where all of the things that actually happen with our body happen here.
Yeah.
And that's where all those hormones are working their magic to create that experience. That in this type of setting, Bella's Hacienda Ranch is what I call 10 times better than what their imagination might think they're going to experience. So we have that conversation room where they can sit down. It's close to the bar, but it's still that privacy that they have where, that they can talk without being overheard.
Sure.
And get past what I call the nervousness.
Sure.
Because, a lot of the ladies are, when they first decide to step into being a courtesan, they're as nervous as he is. But it's safe for all and it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to tell one another you're nervous.
I was a little nervous just to come here for the interview.
Well, I understand that. But you know, the houses aren't a wild party. There aren't people running around naked. And if chances are the women have on more clothes than a person could even imagine.
Is that right? And then, so once a guy finds a lady that he's interested in, from there is it being that she's a individual or private individual contractor, whatever.
Yes.
It's that up to them then to determine whatever price and what they're getting and how long the time's going to be, and that's sort of all taken care of between them, or does the house set the rules on that?
No, the house never sets the rules. However, the ladies are pretty close in what I call experience and money, okay? And it's just how it works. It might vary a little bit, but you know, if there is a courtesan that has been here a little while and she is, you know, the cortegiana onesta instead of the beginning courtesan, she's going to command or be worth, let's say, more money for her experience. All right, and it's logical.
Sure.
You know, because at some point in time, you know, the seductress really becomes the temptress and the enchantress.
Sure.
And it's all done creating what I call the experience that's unbelievable.
Like, we have all the truck stops right over here.
Yes, we do.
And I know that my parents actually used to drive over the road, and they would, when they were coming down 80, they would start hearing advertisements on the radio. This was years ago, but from Bella's, on the CB. Now, whether they ever stopped in here or not, I don't know. They'll probably see this, and I'm going to hear about it. But
They'll tell you they stopped in, and they probably had the complimentary shower, but they may not have quite.
Actually, you know what they did say about the free showers? I remember them telling me
Well, see, now,
that they have the free showers.
But see, now we do the complimentary showers with every party.
Oh, with every party.
Right.
Okay.
And that's just so we can afford the water bill.
Now, if a trucker parks over there, does Bella have a service that goes and picks them up and brings them over here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because a lot of that has become incredibly invasive for those drivers.
Sure.
Where, you know, you hear, and they tell us, you know, there's like more cameras inside their truck than they have for taking pictures of the scenery.
Sure.
And I just,
So they want to be parked at a truck stop. They don't want to be parked in front of them.
well, because there's company grounds, or they might
Understood.
lose their
Well,
job, or, you know, but there was a day when, you know, this had 75 trucks in
Sure.
this parking lot.
Wow.
But if you notice, there's more and more over-the-road drivers that are going to the older vehicles. They're rebuilding them, they're painting them up quite, you know, in a stunning way. And they don't have to run deaf, and they don't have satellites following them, and they don't have cameras in them wondering what they're doing, or are they really sleeping. So those are things that I believe every industry gets to do in order to have what we call freedom. And in this country, we used to be about freedom.
Sure.
We used to be about trust. We used to be about letting people be people instead of manipulated and controlled. So, good for them.
I would imagine when somebody shows up, they need to be on their best behavior. You know, be proper, polite. Do you occasionally get somebody that shows up being a little rude or something like that? Get a bad feeling? If that happens, what do you do?
There's a lot of us women in here.
Sure.
You wouldn't stand a
I
chance.
don't want to deal with just you, let alone all the rest of you.
I love that. So anyway, truly, when a gentleman comes in, and let's say first timer, they're nervous.
Sure.
They're stepping into our energy. Now, if the reverse was happening, and it was an escort stepping into his residents,
Sure.
then she should be nervous.
Sure.
So this is that safety.
Sure. Yeah. So I guess you have, you can answer this if you want or not, but do you have like a plan if somebody comes in here and starts getting a little rough or angry or something's going wrong with the lady? What happens?
Well, we do have panic buttons.
Uh-huh.
And there's always ladies in the hallway. If they hear anything, that door is going open.
Yeah.
But it's something that just, it just doesn't happen the way you might think.
Sure.
You know, sometimes we might get someone that just speaks another language, and you know, and maybe they just don't want to leave a room yet.
Oh.
And so she just opens the door and she says, "Hey, everybody," and we'll go there and we'll say, "Honey, you get to put your pants on. Put your pants on, okay?"
Sure.
And or you could spend more money.
Sure.
You know, that's fair. Spend more money.
Sure.
You know, you should have bought a medium length party. You bought a short party, and many times, you know, as we know, there's a lot of people in this country now that English isn't their first language.
Sure.
And so it's all harmless.
Mm-hmm.
And thank goodness that, you know, people really are good at heart.
Good. Good.
But it's also something, like you said before, that having a specified location is so much more about safety.
Yes.
Because people who are more violent are going to hesitate to do things in a specified location than they are in a random hotel room.
Absolutely. And we all get to remember, when we're walking into some place, and we're solo, let's say, we always put our best self forward.
Yeah.
All right? And as every courtesan that works legally knows, here you're safe. You don't want to meet him out there.
No.
You don't. So this is the whole location. The rest of the story, Tracy. That is it. Here, it's like it's stellar. It's wonderful. It's good for everyone. Not out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I agree. And you know, America's a melting pot, and you got people from all different cultures and countries coming here. I'm sure a lot of them are driving trucks and doing different jobs that require travel. So you probably sometimes have to deal with people where maybe where they came from not too long ago, women might have been treated a little bit different way than they're treated here. Is that fair? I'm just guessing. I'm making a statement. I don't know.
That particular part of the world is pretty 20th century.
Yeah.
All right. And here's how Bella deals with that. Because those gentlemen do come in.
Okay.
But they're told, if anything is unkind in that party, the party will be stopped and there will be no refund. So it's like getting through to them. It's time to get some courtesy.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they don't have respect, don't show it.
Sure.
Act like a gentleman. Act like an evolving human being.
When you come across as a lady that takes no shit, and
Well, why
you know,
should I?
wouldn't want to cross your path in the wrong way, because I know you would probably stand right up. You know, from our previous conversations and such, I have to say Bella is a firecracker. And
Thank you. That's
very
good.
lots of
Oh, it
energy.
is.
Ride a horse. You ride your horse a lot, right?
Oh, every day.
Every day. And what, you're 42?
Well, I tell everyone I'm 28.
20, I apologize.
That's okay. I tell them I'm 28. However, you know, the world keeps talking about the fact that chronologically, I've moved through time to 74. Now, if you guys, you know, you missed my birthday, okay, I gave plenty of notice as the shopping days were counting down. But November 7th, I did turn 74.
74.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So, you know, it's like I have
You
things
look,
to do.
you look amazing.
I do?
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Can I sit in the middle?
So,
I was.
so you know, but this is it's a topic that if it's expressed like with some humor, and if we could take ourselves a little less serious, and find a way to be, I'm going to call it more fun as a human being,
Sure.
then I think we would evolve sexually faster. But I think there is so much out there that deals with, I'm going to use the word incel, or the dark web, or the things that cause our young people to commit suicide. And those things are really brought about by AI, that are brought about by inability to be social beings. We come here for touch, we come here to interact, to know how to talk to one another. And it doesn't mean we're always great listeners, but, you know, we could become that. But that's why, you know, I've had articles out there about the AI thing. We have got to stay in touch, and that means that too. You know, so that's the hub, that's the authenticity of it. You know, when was the last time people that are your viewers had an authentic hug?
Sure.
Typically we get one of these. Oh, that's great.
Not with her.
No, not with me.
As a matter of fact,
No.
she met one of my friends the other day because I was going to shoot in a pool tournament. And she goes up and gives him a big hug, and he's like, she's a hugger?
They say that,
Yeah,
don't they?
she's a hugger. I saw that you might have the world record for hugs given.
I believe I do.
I think that's what I sort of heard.
And if that, I should be in Guinness.
Yeah, should be.
Guinness Book of World
For
Records.
a number of things.
I think so, yeah. You know, there's the judgment, there's the idea that the people that are using their body differently from what another person is doing is somehow a lesser citizen. And that is untrue. We all, and I'm gonna use the word prostitute ourselves, okay? If I'm gonna get paid, I have to be an amazing madam, a mentor, I have to run a business correctly. I'm trading my time on this planet while I'm alive for this. And then I get a little paycheck or whatever, right? And that's still trading me for money.
Well, yeah, but we all do that.
So
Whether
it's
you're driving a truck or you work at a fast food restaurant, you're still trading your time for money. I mean, it's all.
So let's get logical about this.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you want to lay, you know, you're a bricklayer, are you a carpenter? Guess what happens to those souls that do that? Their body wears out and then they're done.
Sure.
This happens to be a short career and they move on. But if they're in it authentically, they can feel good about people that they made a difference to.
Cool. And I think we're probably I appreciate taking up this much of your time. I'm getting towards the end of my list of questions. Do you have anything else you would like to say? Ask while we're here? While we have the great Bella right next to us? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think I would love to see your house.
Okay.
And one last thing I had to say, I don't want to interrupt, but I'm going to interrupt. No, was if there's any final thing that you have on your agenda or you would like to say to whoever is lucky enough to stumble across this video once we put it up.
Oh, that was good. Well said. All right. Yes, great questions, by the way. But I would like for everyone to know that the interview Q&A I did with the Vice actually inadvertently changed the name of my memoir, which will be the second book that comes out. The first book that's going to come out is called Sexual Healing, and it'll be in the spring of 2024. All right, and it's a good read. It's the perfect length, and it talks about a lot of this stuff, but never in the depth exactly that we've even done today. But this beautiful journalist asked me, like how I referred to myself, and I said I was the American Madam, and I thought that was going to be the title of the memoir, and I pretty great listener, and when they wrote the article, it's in the Vice for anybody that wants to go look. He said I was America's Madam, and I went bingo. That's what I am. That's what this whole little blueprint is about, is being that spokesperson for what gets to happen next. And so I'm thankful. If anyone wants to go on the website, it's bellas.us, like United States.
Okay, and we'll put a link for that as well.
Right, and then right now we only have a Twitter or an X account. Because, it's pretty tough on social media to have anything up for very long. So our Twitter is at Bella's Hacienda. That's HACIENDA.
Yep, and you'll find mentions of that on my Twitter as well. And that was, actually my second note was your book. I meant to say something early on, and America's Madam. So, yeah, guys, so it sounds like we may be able to be lucky enough to get a tour of the house, and we'll include that in here.
Yep, we'll do a little short one.
We'll do a little short tour,
And we'll call it a podcast.
That's awesome.
There you go.
See ya.
Bye.
Now we get an exclusive private tour of Bella's Hacienda Ranch.
You're stepping into the bar area.
The bar area. Do you want us to follow you, or would you like me to wander on in?
Either way.
Oh, look at Maryland. And of course, have to have the ATM,
Your friend and mine.
just in case.
Yes.
Oh,
Take the credit card.
and they take credit cards. And probably cash too. So this is the bar area. So when a individual would come in here, this is where they start out.
Yes.
And this is where a line out would be with the ladies
Yes.
come out.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right, and then here is the men's room. And I'm gonna let you lead the way, and I'll sort of talk behind you.
Okay.
There's a workout room. This is our conversation room.
Okay. And this is
Oh,
what,
this is where you and Tracy can make your deal.
oh, how much, baby?
Oh,
I don't know if I
get
can
your
afford
credit
her.
And this is the historic hallway.
Okay.
There's a lot of artwork, at the end we have like a very feminine bust, and there's shower rooms for the clients.
Uh-huh.
And as you move up farther down, we'll come to, on your left, our big VIP room with the hot tub and the mirrors and
Wow.
right there.
Big old, what's that? Big old California king bed. We got the mirrors. Oh, nice lighting, mirrors.
This is nice.
Nice hot tub. And they have their own bathroom and shower, right?
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
A drinking fountain.
Yes,
Oh.
no, we should have a drink.
And
All right, and so these in the original
Very
house before the Olympic wing was built was where all the ladies resided.
Okay.
All right.
Massage room.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure. So, do some people come in here for everything from massage to
Oh, absolutely.
happy parties?
Absolutely, and let's face it, the old idea of the massage parlor with the happy ending is a reality here.
A legal reality.
Yes, a
Yeah.
legal
A
reality.
legal reality.
All right, and then they're right down here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is like what one of the original rooms would have looked like.
Okay.
All right, I know it's a little
Original
dark.
room still in use today?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Of course. And this is what we call the back hallway.
Okay.
All right, because the courtesans from this side, because there wasn't the Olympic wing yet, they had to get to the parlor for lineups, and they couldn't go through the bar.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So when you come down this way, this is basically the back part where everyone can take their clients down this way, and it still keeps what you will see as the ladies' part very private.
Okay.
But out here they have a little area when the weather is good
Oh, yeah.
that they can sit and they can dine and whatever
Oh,
it is
very
they want
nice.
to do. So, but it's their little private area, and you know, sometimes the kiddie pool's out there, sometimes it isn't.
Okay.
All right, but this is the workings. This is where, you know, the cleaning, the laundry, the boilers, the big walk-in coolers, you know, whatever we need is, oh my gosh.
Oh. It smells like something's cooking pretty good.
Yeah, well, they do cook for themselves. Of course, this would be my office right here. And then in here would be their parlor, okay? So these curtains close so that when clients are coming by with the courtesan, what's happening in here isn't seen.
This is their private area.
But yeah, so when you come in here, this is like their Christmas area. This is where they can do
Christmas
whatever
tree,
they want to do. You step around the corner, everybody can kind of look away. This is what we call the kitchen. And this is their area where they can create whatever they'd like to create.
Awesome.
Food and all of those things. And then as we had a lot of crystals around here. This mirror actually hung in a brothel in San Francisco.
Oh, really?
And it's Italian made. And for the very short time, brothels were legal in San Francisco. And we lost one piece during the earthquake. But I mean, it's like lead mirror.
That is an amazing mirror.
And you know, it's okay to look at yourself in a mirror that's really nice.
I have to ask you real quick because I saw something mentioned. This is like the old school
Drop your money.
drop your money from how the ladies used to get paid back in the day. Is that correct?
Yes.
They would work and then.
It's part of the tour, you know, so that when people say, well, why is it still there? Well, it's history.
Sure.
Yes.
You know?
Very much.
And then this was a picture, it was actually turned into a dot-to-dot in 2002 when I was in the Wall Street Journal on the Olympic page next to the countries and the number of Olympic medals they've won. Nice. All right, but as you can see, it's feminine, it's energetically what I call cleansing, healing.
Yes.
But isn't that what we're about when we're talking about our sensual, sexual nature?
Absolutely.
Very
It
much.
should be more of a healing. So as you head down this way, you're moving towards the Olympic Queen, all right? Now right here is Isabella. And Isabella is always gifted with money because it's said that she will bring the guest luck.
Yes, we met Isabella once, and we've had pretty good luck since we saw her.
Ooh, there you go.
When we met for our original talk, so we are.
Things are looking good then, huh?
going to help. What?
You're good.
I'm bringing her bad luck. She's bringing me good luck. Let's stick that in.
No, that's
Okay.
all good luck. See, it's perfect. That's where it was meant to go.
That's where it was.
All right, and then down here we have, you know, like our little Tibetan balance, the energy bell.
You guys are very much about energy and good vibes.
Yes, it cleanliness and just this. It's showing people energetically and visually what it might feel like if they were walking with your camera.
Feels good here.
Yeah. And so as you head down and you turn left, there's going to be 2 more VIP suites, and then the rest of the rooms are the courtesan's rooms.
Okay.
Okay, so you would go straight.
Straight.
And then probably on your left, you're going to have a light switch, and this would be part of what your Dom experience might be like.
There we go.
And it has a bathroom as well.
The bathroom.
You know? And then of course you've got the cross. You know, you could just step right on and have anything happen.
Yeah.
What would you like? You know?
If Tracy strapped me up on there, I may not get home for a few days.
Yeah.
She'd just leave me.
Have you been a fan?
I don't want to ask that question. This is really a cool room. I like it.
Isn't it lovely?
Yeah, it is lovely.
Okay, and then in here we have what we call the dance floor.
Oh.
Okay, and this is what magic happens here too. I think somebody must have pushed something or something.
That's okay. I'm gonna squeeze on in here.
Sometimes they do, and they turn the little light switches off. All right, but of course this has another bedroom. You can get a little bit of light over it.
Oh, there we go.
So that you
So
can
you
sort of see.
have a bathroom and shower back in here.
Nice.
But if you look, there's a mural that was actually done. Both murals were done by Colson.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Wow, very
So
talented.
I mean, it's
a little dark, but it's a mural with palm trees and a nice beach scene. Someone hanging out in a hammock there.
Yeah.
and so it's one of those that we always call it the sunset.
Mm-hmm.
Got
But
mirrors.
but it's dance pole, and it's a good dance pole. I mean, it spins.
Oh.
And so when they do get to do like the lap dance dances, and they do.
Sure.
And usually it moves into a more elaborate party, but it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, what is the experience design?
Looks like a fun room.
It is.
Looks like there's been a lot of fun in there.
All right, and then down this direction,
Okay.
we're just looking at, the courtesans' accommodations. And, for most of them are, and this one might be empty right now, but this would be an idea.
So this would be not only
This would be her residence, and she could entertain
And
them here
entertain them.
as well.
okay.
So it's really nice. The beds
very
are
homey.
great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very comfortable.
And then of course they've got their tub and toilet on the other side.
Nice.
It's a nice place.
It's a very nice place. And it's amazing how big it is.
It is
It's
big.
huge. From the outside, it doesn't look that way.
And then, as you can tell, we always sort of stick things in front of the exit because we know it's an exit, but we want it to look like
Oh, okay.
class and comfort.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
We're good here.
We can go back through there.
Right through here?
There to say hello. Go back in the bar.
Okay. We're going to go through here. Oh, I need a pair of shoes like that.
Oh.
And we're coming out this way. But this area here is actually private. Most people don't ever see this. Okay. And then we're back in the wonderful bar.
Isn't it?
The bar is awesome. This place is
stunning.
cool. Yeah.
It's really stunning. And it's feminine, but it isn't so feminine that a client, a man, I guess, would be uncomfortable.
Yep.
Cozy.
It's cozy.
It is.
All right.
You can put it on and have souvenirs.
Oh, we have souvenirs.
Souvenirs though.
Ah.
So,
We have the Bella's Hacienda Ranch t-shirts. Very nice.
and hats.
Hats, tank tops,
And yes.
no panties?
And sleeveless. No panties yet.
No panties yet.
I'm looking for them. They used to be easier to find.
Awesome.
We did it.
So we got the whole tour, got the hugs. Thank
They
you
did
so
get
much.
hugs.
Appreciate it. This has
It
been
is.
awesome.
And we had to wait a couple weeks, but
We're
we did
good.
it.
Thank you so much, Miss Bella.
You're
We
welcome.
appreciate your
You're
time.
very welcome.